From the outside, drinking cold water seems like one of the most harmless actions a human can perform. A simple tilt of the bottle, a refreshing sip, a cooling sensation spreading across your lips. But inside your body, beyond the skin, beyond the silence, something extraordinary is happening. A sequence of reactions so fast, so carefully calculated, and so interconnected that you would never imagine they all begin with just a single swallow. Before that first sip, your internal world is calm. Your heartbeat flows in a gentle, predictable rhythm. Warm blood circulates like a soft current through relaxed arteries. Your stomach rests in its natural temperature, around 37 degrees, perfect for enzyme activity and digestion. Your lungs expand smoothly, and each breath feels effortless, automatic. It's a delicate balance, a warm harmony that your body works tirelessly to maintain. But then the cold bottle touches your lips. Even before the water enters, the temperature receptors around your mouth and nose detect the chill. These microscopic sensors send electrical signals racing along the trigeminal nerve directly into the brainstem. It's not enough to trigger panic, but enough to prime your autonomic nervous system, to whisper, "Prepare, something cold is coming." The moment the cold water hits your tongue, thousands of cold receptors fire simultaneously. The brain registers the sudden temperature shock, not severe but unexpected. It redirects attention inward, recalibrating subtle aspects of your physiology. You may not notice anything yet, but inside, gears are beginning to turn. As you swallow, the icy liquid begins its journey down the esophagus. This is where the first dramatic shift occurs. The smooth muscle lining the esophagus reacts instantly to the low temperature. Instead of guiding the liquid downward in a gentle wave, the muscles contract more sharply, slowing the descent. This is why extremely cold drinks sometimes feel like they're dragging their way down your chest. The colder the water, the stronger this reflex. As the water continues to fall, it carries with it a ribbon of cold that spreads in every direction. Nerves running alongside the esophagus detect the drop in temperature and alert the brain once more. The sympathetic nervous system responds decisively. Blood vessels in the chest constrict. Heart rate increases slightly. Blood flow is redistributed toward vital organs. All this happens in under 200 milliseconds. If your chest feels momentarily tight or heavy, this is why. The body is tightening its internal walls, guarding the heat around the heart like a fortress protecting its central flame. Once the water reaches your stomach, the world inside shifts even more dramatically. The stomach is a muscular organ designed to maintain warmth, acidity, and motion. It functions best when everything inside it matches its internal temperature. But cold water crashes into this warm environment like a piece of ice thrown into a pot of simmering soup. The stomach wall contracts instantly. A fast, sharp squeeze, a protective reflex. Its job, stop the cold from spreading too quickly. This contraction is what many people interpret as a cold ache or a brief sting under the ribs. It's not harmful, just your body shielding its core. Now digestion slows. Enzymes temporarily lose efficiency. Blood flow to the stomach increases in an attempt to warm the contents. Meanwhile, nerves fire continuously to update the brain on the temperature shift. At the same time, the diaphragm stiffens slightly, a coordinated movement that helps regulate pressure inside the abdomen. You might feel this as a faint tightening or a heavier breath. Deep inside the abdomen, the cold liquid sinks, cooling the stomach cavity by a few degrees. It doesn't sound like much, but for internal organs that require consistent warmth, even a single degree of change is significant. To compensate, the body pulls warm blood from the extremities, your arms, legs, and even your skin inward. Your core temperature is sacred. Preserving it is priority number one. This is why your fingers might feel ever so slightly cooler after drinking ice-cold water, even if you don't consciously notice it. But the story continues. As the stomach begins to warm the cold water through blood flow and muscular movement, the liquid starts to move into the small intestine. But it moves slowly, much slower than room temperature or warm water would. Peristalsis, the rhythmic contraction of the intestinal muscles, changes its tempo. The gut deliberately delays movement to avoid sending cold too far into the digestive tract. This delay can cause temporary bloating, a sensation of heaviness, slow digestion, mild discomfort in the lower abdomen. Not because something is wrong, but because your body is trying very hard to minimize internal disruption. At the same time, the vagus nerve must navigate a changing environment. It sends signals directly to the heart, altering heartbeat by a few beats per minute, sometimes faster, sometimes slower, depending on the person. This is part of why some people feel a shock in their chest or even a light dizziness when they drink ice-cold water quickly. Your entire cardiovascular system is adjusting minute by minute. As the water progresses deeper into the intestines, the surrounding organs start to respond. The liver increases heat production to compensate. The pancreas slows enzyme release. The kidneys regulate water absorption more carefully. The spleen adjusts blood filtration speed. The intestinal lymphatic system temporarily slows drainage. All these systems coordinate seamlessly without your awareness. Slowly, the internal cold begins to fade. Warmth from the bloodstream radiates into the intestines like sunlight spreading through fog. The digestive muscles regain their rhythm, contracting smoothly again. But traces of the cold linger. Along the spine, the sympathetic nerves maintain heightened alertness for several seconds longer. The lungs still expand a little more carefully. The heartbeat stays slightly elevated before easing into balance. It's as if the body is double-checking every system, making sure the cold hasn't left behind any disturbances. Gradually, the warming process completes. Your abdomen loosens. Blood vessels expand slightly. Warm blood returns to the skin, and your heartbeat softens into a gentle, predictable rhythm. A quiet relief spreads through the chest, the kind you feel not consciously, but instinctively. Your body is telling you, we handled it, everything is fine. And in that moment, you understand something profound. A simple sip of cold water, something you've done thousands of times, sets off an intricate cascade of reactions involving nearly every major system in your body. Cardiovascular, respiratory, digestive, nervous, muscular, lymphatic, endocrine. Every one of them responds, adjusts, recalibrates, and returns to harmony, all within a minute or two. Your body is extraordinary. It performs miracles in silence every single day. And when you finally switch to a warm drink, the contrast becomes unmistakable. The body relaxes instantly. Vessels expand. Digestion flows. Breathing deepens. The heart settles effortlessly. Warm water works with the body, not against it. And from that moment, you realize just how sensitive, intelligent, and adaptive the human body is. And how even the smallest choices, like the temperature of your drink, can send ripples across the entire biological universe contained within you. But the story of that cold sip doesn't end with the digestive system alone. Deep within your nervous system, a much more sophisticated chain of events is beginning. One that reveals just how sensitive and intelligent the human body truly is. As the cold water makes its way through the chest, the brainstem receives continuous updates from the network of temperature receptors along the esophagus. These receptors fire signal after signal, alerting the hypothalamus, the central command center for body temperature. In response, the hypothalamus issues its own set of instructions, creating a ripple effect across the entire autonomic nervous system. The sympathetic branch, the same system responsible for the fight or flight response, steps forward again. It increases alertness, sharpens nerve conduction speed, and reinforces blood vessel constriction. On the outside, you look completely normal, but inside, your neural circuits are humming with activity, recalibrating every vital function to maintain internal stability. In this state, even your lungs join the conversation. The sudden temperature shift causes a subtle change in how your respiratory muscles behave. The diaphragm, the powerful dome-shaped muscle beneath your lungs, tightens ever so slightly. Your next breath becomes a little deeper, a touch more deliberate. It's almost as though the body is bracing against the internal cold, expanding the lungs more fully to maintain oxygen flow under the new conditions. This is why you may feel a slight heaviness in the chest or a slow, deeper inhale after drinking something very cold. It's not anxiety. It's not discomfort. It's your body fine-tuning itself in real time. As these adjustments occur, the heart continues to play its role in this invisible ballet. It has already reacted to the first temperature shock, but now it must maintain a delicate balance between supporting digestion, warming the cold liquid, and keeping your core temperature stable. It carefully increases cardiac output for a moment, then lowers it as the cold begins to dissipate. Your blood vessels, meanwhile, are engaged in a striking transformation. When the cold was descending, they tightened instantly, becoming narrow, rigid channels that restricted the flow of warm blood. But as warmth gradually returns from the liver, the kidneys, and deeper intestinal tissue, these same vessels begin to relax. Their walls soften. Their diameter increases. Blood flows more freely, washing away the leftover traces of cold shock. This expansion creates a faint sense of relief, one that washes through the chest and abdomen like the slow unwinding of tension after a deep stretch. It's gentle, subtle, easy to overlook. But inside, the change is massive. The body is transitioning from a defensive mode back to a state of organic rhythm and ease. Yet even as the cold fades from the stomach, its memory lingers in the nervous system. Signals continue traveling up and down the spinal cord, confirming that the threat is past. The hypothalamus runs a second check on core temperature. The vagus nerve monitors the heart's response and slowly reduces its influence now that the body is stabilized. This final phase is like the quiet closing of a book. The body doesn't simply return to normal, it reintegrates every system, bringing them back into harmonious alignment. And just when everything seems to settle, the contrast becomes even clearer. If you take a sip of warm water after drinking something icy, the body reacts instantly with an almost exaggerated sense of relief. Warm receptors in the mouth send pleasant signals to the brain. Blood vessels widen eagerly, embracing the warmth. The stomach relaxes at once, welcoming the temperature it's designed to handle. Even the intestines respond with a smoother wave of motion, as if encouraged by the comfort of warmth spreading through the core. This contrast between cold shock and warm ease is one of the subtle miracles of human physiology. Cold forces the body into alert mode, contracting, protecting, conserving, stabilizing. Warmth invites the body into harmony, expanding, calming, flowing, healing. But perhaps the most remarkable part of all is that your body has done all of this automatically, without demanding your attention, without interrupting your thoughts, without asking for your understanding. Every reaction was silent. Every adjustment was precise. Every system worked in perfect coordination. And if one were to slow down time and watch the body's reaction frame by frame, it would look like a choreographed dance. Muscles tightening and releasing, nerves firing and settling, blood shifting directions, organs communicating through chemical and electrical signals, all in response to one simple, cold sip of water. You experience none of the chaos, only the result. The body warms, the chest relaxes, the stomach settles, the heartbeat returns to its natural rhythm, breathing softens into peaceful waves, and slowly the internal world returns to the same calm state it was in before that first sip, only now carrying the faint echo of everything it just endured. It is in this moment that you grasp the astonishing truth. Your body is not just a collection of organs. It is an ecosystem, alive, intelligent, vigilant, constantly navigating the delicate balance between cold and warmth, threat and safety, tension and release. And so, the next time cold water touches your lips, your body will remember. It will prepare subtly, react faster, adapt more efficiently. Because every experience leaves an imprint. Every shock teaches the body something new. And through that learning, you stay alive, protected not by your awareness, but by the silent brilliance working behind your every breath.